Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Skymetal Iron Gods. Let's see, we are in Chapter 1 still, Fires of Creation still, Part 5, but for reasons that may become clear very soon, it will feel very much like a Part 1. If you've been along with us for the ride, you will also take note that this game is now a D&D 5e game. We've made the decision to switch over from Pathfinder for this game. So you may see some differences in mechanics and presentation of abilities and things like that. But other than that, well, I was going to say it's the same characters you know and love, but no, it's not. It's the same players you know and love, but not the same characters. We'll get to that in a few moments. Real quick, if you take a look up above my head, right up here, you will see these fancy little vials of, well, what we call domain relics. And I just added one there. Domain relics are a domain dice for this particular game. Domain relics are a way that you, the viewer, can have an impact on the game simply by by donating, by gifting, subbing, resubbing, cheering 500 bits, tipping $5, or doing as one of our longest resident friends in the MTD domain, Tamiko, has just done, gifting 5 subs to the community. That means that our domain relics are going to bump up by 5, so we're now at 14 domain relics. The current explanation of how domain relics work is a little off, but we're going to adjust that as we're continuing to make adjustments over from Pathfinder to D&D. Bear with us on that, but let's see. There is something very big that I want to tell you about. I think if I remember correctly, we actually broke it here for the first time a couple weeks ago. On Saturday, September 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, please join us for Todd Stashwick's Nerd Circus presents Legends of Eleonora, the Light of the Child, a D&D charity live stream event benefiting the Pavlov Foundation. This is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and September 30th is the last day. This game will be dungeon mastered by the one and only Todd Stashwick, with celebrity guest players Matthew Lillard, Mika Burton, Tawny Newsome, and Jack Quaid. We have also got 2 auction winners. Their generous bids are already putting us, before we've even started our event, have already put us at $8,000. We haven't even, originally we were going to set a goal of around $2,500 to $5,000. The auction brought in $8,000, and it's all going towards this incredible organization who they work with kids who have cancer and provide a lot of different services. You can check them out at I believe at pavlov.org. We're very excited to partner with Pavlov and Todd Stashwick, and this is going to be a one-night event for 3 hours. There will be donation incentives. You can affect the game with things like rerolls, donating for critical hits. I'm so excited. I can't show it now because it hasn't been revealed publicly yet, but friend of the domain, artist Julia Madalena, was commissioned by Todd Stashwick to create a unique custom Legends of Eleonora Light of the Child poster for this event. There will be a limited number of those that will be available as donation incentives, and you will be able to get those. I think there's going to be less than 100 of those, and then they're done. However, There will also be the artwork on t-shirts that will be available through Todd Stashwick's Nerd Circus, with all profits going to benefit Pavlov as well. Not to mention that Todd is donating some custom dice boxes, tiki glasses, his Mystic Libations book, all of them personalized and autographed as donation incentives. Beetle and Grimm's, Matthew Lillard's company, is going to be donating a Dragonlance box. I don't know if it's the gold, silver, platinum, whichever one it is, but they are donating that. Rumor has it that, well, not even a rumor, it's every game Todd has ever DM'd for charity. He always puts up a high dollar value bid to usually around $1,000 or $2,000, that if you donate that much, he will run a private game for you and 5 of your friends on Zoom. I've been invited to a couple of those games. It's a blast. So as you can tell, we got a lot of really awesome stuff coming up to the end of the month. So stay tuned as we get more information. I mean, we're talking, this is just 11 days. I say the end of the month like it's way off. This is 11 days from now. So we are super excited to be able to bring this to you. So stay tuned for that, for more information on that. And if you're not already following the channel, be sure to follow the channel. Hit that little bell icon to be notified when we go live. And if you're hearing this message, do me a favor. Tell your friends. Pass the message around. We want to get as many people here as we can to have a big turnout for this event, to show Pavlov and the community how much the MTD community and the broader community of these celebrities, what they can do, what we can do for amazing causes like this. And if it's a success, we may be back next year with 1 or 2 more of these. All right. The last couple things I want to mention is just a reminder that we at the table have safety tools in place. We have had a session 0. We stay in communication with one another. So sometimes conversations, situations, and things in this game can get intense. Please know that we as players are keeping each other safe and using those safety tools. But that also means that you may hear described situations or scenes or hear language that doesn't sit well with you. And if that's the case, we invite you to please head on over to another stream. We will not be offended. Just giving you a little fair warning that kind of stuff can come up. And finally, just a reminder that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. There are all kinds of reasons why people might be struggling. I know I myself have had struggles with depression and anxiety in the past. And there was a time when I didn't know where to turn. I was thankful that I had friends that could help me out and tell me where to go to get help. So we try to make it as simple as possible here at MTD. If you find yourself struggling and you are not sure what to do or where to go, please know that first and foremost, you do not have to struggle alone. You can type !help at any time, and a couple URLs will pop up. findahelpline.com, or you can check out takethis.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I am going to turn the reins over to our Game Master, Vi.
Hello, thanks, Jake. So, we ended our last session with a bit of a bloodbath. It was the 6th expedition below Black Hill that, again, did not return. This seems to be the pattern here in Torch. Teams go down and they do not return. And so that is what has happened here, and that is what you've been told again as another adventuring party seeking out the bounty of reigniting Torch and finding its council member alive, hopefully, of Mr. Conir Bane. The 4 of you followed the tracks and the path of the previous expeditions, swimming through the underwater cavern system, only to then find yourself at the embankment that, well, is familiar to you as players. You see the bodies of these beetles at the edge of your light. They've been skewered and torn apart by both blades and magic, and now they're being picked over by small little scavengers that scurry at your presence. You can see that many other teams have gone through this place before, and you might not even be the last. We're going to, in this small torchlight beneath the black hill of torch, I'm going to go around the table here, and I want to have us each describe what our characters look like here in this flickering torchlight. We'll start with you, Jake. Go ahead and describe your character.
Yrsimagor the bear is about a 7-foot tall orc. Reddish tan skin, the life of showing a life spent outdoors on the windswept plains, whether farming or warring, maybe not too clear, maybe a little bit of both, depending on wartime and peacetime. Yrsimagor has a very thick beard that comes down partway down his chest, with bits of bone woven into braids in different places in his beard. No mustache, but protruding up from his lower lip are two very large chipped tusks, one of which has a gold ring or gold band that's been pounded down onto it. That same tooth has been drilled through, and a gold ring is kind of pushed through it. His thick black hair is pulled up into a top knot and spills down. And his ears come up to points. Each ear is pierced numerous times with an assortment of rings or bone piercings. Across his chest, taking up over his heart, so mostly on his left side, from his shoulder all across his chest, is a giant tattoo of a bear. That is Yrsimagor, the bear.
Awesome. We'll move on to you, Em. What does your character look like here in this torchlight?
Yeah, you see where Dannek is the opposite to your sorry, Jake, can you say your name one more time?
Yrsimagor.
Yrsimagor. Okay, I will get it.
I'll put a phonetic spelling in there for you.
Perfect, excellent, thank you. So Yrsimagor, Dannek is opposite, where Yrsimagor has this large muscular presence. Dannek is almost folding into the shadows themselves. He doesn't have an unfriendly face, but one that is always looking, always very insightful, seems to see everything. He is clothed in mostly black, dark colors. When you first met him, you did not see any kind of weapon or anything on him. He is dressed very lightly, but from head to toe, almost completely covered.
And awesome. Right. Sara, tell me about your character. What do they look like?
Oh no. Zaari, Woundcarver Varin is a 7'5" Goliath woman with this soft gray tone skin and charcoal hair that she usually keeps up in a high ponytail to keep out of her face. Her eyes are this very piercing blue color, and she is much like Yrsimagor, she is a wall of muscle. She wears these interlocking chainmail armor, and she has a long sword that she carries on her back. There's a mask that covers the lower half of her face that appears to be just the lower jaw of some sort of beast that she may have killed. There's never really a smile. There's usually just like a twitch of her eyebrows as a change of her expression until she truly gets to know someone. So she's very much just this imposing figure that stands there with her arms crossed, and she is very, very quiet for the time being while we all meet.
Awesome. All right, Kaeryn, your character, please.
So rounding out the party is this this other figure, tall, but compared to Yrsimagor and Zaari, not so tall. We're talking about 5'10", slight yet muscular build, dressed in very practical kind of adventuring like clothing. So, you know, you've got your trousers, your shirt. Nothing seems to stand out terribly much. There doesn't seem to be weapons either on the person, but they've got ebon black skin, like super dark, as if they also were just kind of becoming part of the darkness. But standing out in that is this short, straight white hair, as white as, well, these people wouldn't know, but snow potentially. And their eyes are disconcerting, if you will. If you look at them, they are completely white, as if they had been blinded by the sun or something, had been stared into it too long and have completely gone blind. The other probably most recognizable feature of this person is that their face is terribly scarred and mauled, almost as if some sort of creature had taken a bite out of their head, and the damage has been, while healed, has been irreparably scarred this person.
Awesome. This is your team assembled. You're here for the bounty of 300 gold pieces to relight the flame of torch, and 300 gold pieces more for the retrieval of Councillor Conir Bane, a enticing offer that has attracted adventuring parties throughout the region to come and take their shot. And you are a team of competent adventurers, way more competent than the last ones that went in. And so this is where you start here, at this embankment at the water's edge, in the footsteps of the previous team. You see the ledge ahead of you. Goes up about 5 feet. A great sprawling tunnel of stalagmites and stalactites, almost like a maw, like a toothy maw before you, as well as the other route where the water continues in a lazy stream around a bend beyond the edge of your light. Where would you like to go?
Have we established which one of us is the leader of this group?
I don't think so.
Listen, if you want me to, I will go charging in whatever direction we need to. Charging with caution, of course. Somebody smarter than me may want to make a more tactical decision.
I have to agree with him here. I'm more of the hit things type.
Well, hitting things can be good. I'm not going to disparage that at all. I mean, hitting things can save our lives sometimes, but hitting things sometimes is also not the very first thing we want to do in a conversation. So maybe we don't have you go first. But I really do like the idea of Yrsimagor taking point. In case other people, of course, like to react like you do, Zara, and hit first. Oh, no saying, Yrsimagor, that I want you to get hit or anything, but you look like you can take care of yourself.
I can take care of myself, and I can take a punch. Multiple punches, in fact.
Yes.
And then I will give them back.
That would be acceptable.
What do you think, Dannek? Dannek is stuck in a stare.
He
Goes off
disappears
in the
like
corner
that
being a little
all the time. 1 minute he's there, the next minute he's gone. That is his talent.
Somebody take his hand and grab him along. Do we go up this path or through the water?
I can grab the tiny one.
Up the path, I think it would be the best. I don't trust the water here.
Too many things lurk in the deep. This way. And I will begin moving up the path.
Before you,
Unless
the
Dannek suddenly tells us not to.
Yeah.
you,
What are we
Dannek,
doing?
you realize that you are surrounded by a bunch of slow thinkers. I don't know if you're much faster of a thinker, but they are debating which way to go, through the water or up on the ledge.
The last
and
thing I
through the
did
maw of
was
stalactites.
the last thing I did was to go, Dannek, what do you think? Dannek.
You see Dannek is like kind of looking off in space and just kind of shakes his head. He looks down the one path, looks down to the water. I would rather not get wet this early in the trek. And he looks down at his still probably his like drenched body, because I imagine they had to like go underwater, but he kind of smirks at that. And nods towards, we should just keep going that way. You seem to be making headway already as Yrsimagor's moved forward.
What? I missed it because I was apparently not paying attention. How do you say your name, Kaeryn? Your character's name. I know how to say Kaeryn.
It's like Kaeryn. No, Daeralei.
Daeralei. Daeralei suggested I take point. In case somebody comes out swinging, I can take the punches. So we're going this way.
That sounds very intelligent to me.
I don't know why, but I suddenly feel like my character is going to come across as Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, so I will take point and begin moving up that path, and I will be keeping my eyes and ears open.
As you climb up this ledge and weave your way past the stalagmites and stalactites that are like teeth in this cave, you see a corpse slumped up against one of these stalactites. It is a corpse upon further inspection of a previous adventurer. One who you recognize by the make of their clothes and the description. This was one of the members of the second expedition to go beneath Black Hill. And those of you who are more local to Torch would even know her name. This poor half-orc named Parda. She was a renowned brawler in the town, as good with her fists as any warrior would be with any of their weapons. And here she lies slumped, dead. Her body is filled with multiple stab wounds, and the blood is dry and caked. She's been dead for a long time.
This is Parda. No creature did that to her.
Dannek takes a closer look at the stab wounds to see if he can
Mm-hmm. Give me that medicine
discern.
check, please.
Medicine. Oops. That's a 7. So I clicked it twice. 7.
Roll with advantage because they're stabby wounds.
Oh, okay. Well, then in that case, it's a 19.
Nice. As you inspect the wounds, you see a different corpse ahead of you than everyone else sees. You see what, I imagine other people just see a dead body. You see the individual stab wounds. He's like, oh, blade, 4.5 inches long. This one was serrated. This one wasn't. You can confirm that there were multiple different knives involved in the murder of this woman.
Yeah. I imagine that as Dannek is figuring this out, he's saying it out loud. Like, oh, this one was this length and had this weight to it. And this one was serrated. This one wasn't. This one had the... Can he decipher, I guess, the size of the stabber based on the impact?
Yeah, you can determine the size and the weight of the stabber. It would be about the same as a person, a human. But there's one gash of note that you find that it cut through part of a buckle and part of a leather strap in a way that you've only ever seen an enchanted blade do.
He pauses his explanation and he points quickly over to that one. This one is very interesting. It's from an enchanted blade.
It's quite disconcerting that you know all this to such a degree. I'm glad you are on my side.
Are you really surprised?
Surprised? No. A little discomfited? Yes.
It is not the first time that I have had to... He pauses. Discern what type of blade has been used. It looks to be as if humans, or anything human-sized, did this.
They are weapons. So not natural creatures. At
There
least
are other creatures that
wield blades, but they're not from a creature.
He nods.
Interesting.
Does this half orc, do they have any, I know you said they were a brawler, but I don't think I would necessarily know that. Do they have any weapons near them or on them?
You notice that this body has been picked clean. There are some like waist pouches and even like some hidden pouches and pockets. You upturn them. You see that they've been like rifled through. This person's belongings have been rifled through. Every single coin that they would have. The only thing they have really is the like the wraps around their knuckles, her knuckles, suggesting her brawler nature.
Okay.
And the armor that she wears has been punctured and bloodstained.
So I was asking less for looting purposes. Seeing the wrapped knuckles and she's a half orc, I'm going to once Dannek completes his autopsy, I guess, I'm going to just take her fists, her hands, and close her hands into fists and just place them over her chest or whatever, and just whisper, Ashtota Grumsh, Vasobat Latuk. One day, Grumsh will kill us all. If we don't want to end up like this one, we will have to stay alert and keep moving.
You see Dannek makes room for Yrsimagor to take lead again.
Yeah, and I think at the same time, Daeralei is going, lead the way.
Which is good if you step aside, because I wasn't waiting for you to step aside. Not that I was going to bowl you over, but I'm definitely moving on ahead.
I think Zaari is going to stay in the back. Just to kind of take up the rear in case something comes up on us.
As you keep pushing forward through this cave, you're hit with a wall of an acrid, nasty, foul, disgusting smell. And soon after, you find its source. As you bring up the light of your torch, the flames flicker. And at the edge of the light, you see a bloated, scavenger-infested corpse, half-eaten, of a giant frog-like creature that sits near the edge of the water. Its eyes have been eaten out by scavenger animals, and it smells nasty and foul, and its flesh is bloated.
Smells like a victory was had here. Whoever killed this creature must have been formidable warriors.
We see isn't there like a collar or something around this one? Or
It was a brand imprinted on the flesh of its hindquarters. Now, does anyone have deep speech or undercommon as a language?
I have,
Ooh.
I have
Undercommon.
both.
Yes. So you would know that this would be undercommon. The language of the creatures who live beneath the earth. Specifically, this would be a skulk dialect that you can even immediately tell based on like the way that the symbols are used. It's a simple word, a word that is shared in many dialects. The word pet is branded on the flesh of this dead frog creature.
I bet someone is not too happy about this. And he points to the.
And you
Just
know
didn't
what
say.
skulks are, Daeralei the Drow. They are subterranean humanoids that have the ability to blend into shadows and cavern walls. There's legends that say that they were a nation of people that were trapped beneath the earth in some great catastrophe that learned to adapt to the dark places of the earth.
I would let my friends know this, especially Yrsimagor, because I'm thinking he probably doesn't know as much as the other two about those of us who dwell under the ground.
You see that this is where the water pools from that stream that you had seen in the beginning of the cave. It kind of just sits here lazily. And there's only one other real direction you can go, which is south from here, as the cave continues upwards and upwards. It seems you are lucky so far. All the adversaries in your way have been slain by previous teams.
I'm going to take a look down this path to the south.
Yeah, you see a long corridor that stretches up and then down that ends in what appears to be some kind of T intersection.
Though I know I've never been here before, I have a strong sense of deja vu. Stay behind me in case anything happens. And I'm going to just start moving down this tunnel. Keeping my eyes and ears open as always. Until I get to the intersection.
You notice a few things of note as you get to the intersection. Each of the paths seem to branch off, and one ends in a dead end. The other opens up into a massive cave that you cannot see too much of because of the light of your torch. Though your dark vision does help pierce through even that still. The other one continues on further. What you do notice about this passageway to the right, where it kind of goes down into the earth, down at a slope, is there's a pile of rubble, and not rubble of stone and buildings that you're used to seeing above the ground, but instead it's detritus that seems completely unnatural, not even man-made, but supernaturally made. Metals that are impossibly forged together, bits of material that are super light but extremely durable, that modern day humans would call plastic. But you, of course, have no words for this synthetic material. It is all broken and is rummaged through, and I can't imagine you can find anything of value, even if you know what value there might be in here. But as you look up, you can see, with your light flickering, a bunch of drawings upon the walls of this section of the cave. You see these strange chalk drawings of these twisted, spiny plants emerging from the ground, and a strange three-legged creature, it walks almost like a crab, and as well a group of emaciated, four-armed humanoids that mark the walls.
When we look at these drawings, I think when Daeralei's eyes cross over and sees the four-armed figures, there is a audible intake of breath that they're trying to hide and from the rest of you, but it's still noticeable. It didn't surprise them as they're looking at this drawing, and they kind of almost involuntarily take a step backward before they step forward with their hands out to reach as if to touch this drawing.
And you look upon those chalk drawings of those four-armed creatures, and you remember seeing someone that looks exactly the same way. The same way that the skulls seem a little bit elongated, the way the torso splits to have four arms instead of two. You remember your savior, so many years ago, who you barely remember even to this day, but has such a striking resemblance. Muted.
See, I think you see Daeralei the kind of almost caress not going to wipe out the lines of the chalk drawings, but more as like almost like gently caressing the arms, if you will, of this four-legged or four-armed creature. And the look on their face is just kind of it's like puzzled yet grateful, just almost reverent a little bit about looking at this chalk drawing.
Since your time since the incident, did you put any time or effort into identifying who your four-armed savior was, Daeralei?
I think, in fact, that is why Daeralei was missing from Torch when the torch went out in the first place. They were off searching for answers and had been gone for a few weeks and had just actually returned probably like days before we actually came down to this place in itself. So unfortunately, not finding any information that the just dead ends, I guess, on the journey, and then coming back to find that their friend Conir had disappeared down into the caves of underneath the torch and has not returned was quite upsetting, as well as the knowledge that everyone who has tried to go down has also met with an unknown end. And this has spurned Daeralei to come here.
There was one little lead that you've had in the last 2 years about the identity of your savior. You caught wind of a Numerian scholar who apparently had encountered one of these four-armed creatures before. You tried to track him down. Of course, he was dead, long dead, by the time that you ever caught up to him. You caught his notes, and his notes were written in a language you could not understand that well, for you are a bit foreign to this land. But the one thing that you're able to glean from the pieces of research that this man did, these four-armed beings are called, at least they call themselves, Kasatha. And he hypothesized, are not of this world. Do the others react upon seeing Daeralei kind of really focusing upon these chalk drawings on the walls?
Yeah, Dannek definitely, after a while of like, upon seeing that like Daeralei is like really focused on this, Dannek would go over and kind of lightly touch their shoulder and just, what do you see?
I have seen one of these beings before. I wish to know more. But it's strange seeing this here, of all places. I'm sorry, Dana. I don't remember much. It's pieces. It's I've broken memories. But this, and they touch the drawing again. This brings one back. Maybe the answers
Where
I'm
did you
looking
see
for are
this?
here. Where?
Mhm.
I don't even remember where it was. It was years ago, before I came to Torch, before Cornir brought me to Torch. I don't remember. I see flashes of things. I see a cave of fungi. I see. I can't remember. It's disappearing. I'm sorry, Dannek. I don't know. I don't know. And I think when you looking at their eyes, like there's earnestness there. Like their dead eyes are basically like I say dead eyes, but they still show emotion, and there is kind of a fear behind them, like a fear of not knowing that I don't of something that's happened to me.
You see Dannek just nod once. Perhaps, if nothing else, these drawings will bring back memories for you.
Whether those are welcome memories or not is time will tell, but these are the answers I am seeking. Maybe they are here.
Well, then we must continue.
Daeralei just kind of nods and reluctantly almost turns from the chalk drawings to head down there.
Dannek also wants to take Dannek also wants to take a very long mental note of these.
Of these what? Sorry,
Just putting them to memory. The
of
chalk
the
drawings.
drawings. Yeah.
Yeah, just putting them to memory.
Sorry, before we go on, what were the other ones? Because I was just focused on the four-armed one, but I'll take a look at the other ones again as I.
A strange three-legged creature that almost looks like a crab. The four-armed humanoids, like a dozen of them, that you now know to be Kasatha. And the last is twisted, spiny plants. And if any of you have been near an ocean before, you see what appears to be like them drawing coral. Or something that looks very similar to coral. Not sure which of you have like been to an ocean before or been near one, but
While Dannek and Daeralei are appreciating the art, I'm going to poke my head down this tunnel to the southwest.
you taste a nip in the air as the temperature starts to plummet. Colder, like going from chilly to cold to colder as you progress more and more. You, with your orcish dark vision, you can see in grays and blacks and whites a drop off where the cave plummets down, revealing what appears to be a cave filled with dust. And in the far corner, where that little blue squiggle is a corpse slumped in this dust, covered and kind of drooped and completely untouched. You can see that this corpse has not been rummaged through at all by any of the previous expeditions. But it gets formidably cold at this proximity. You think that if you got any closer to this, if you went any deeper into this cave, you'd start taking like frostbite from the sheer cold as it leaches from your body.
Imagine standing at the top of this drop off and maybe even crouching down, peering into this lower area where the cold seems to almost press upward. Sara, does your character prefer to be called Zaari, or do they go by Woundcarver?
Either one.
I feel like Yrsimagor would call you by Woundcarver. Calling back up the tunnel, Woundcarver.
You would
You-
just hear very heavy footsteps.
You are from the mountains. Does this cold bother you?
She does have a resistance to cold, so that is up to our wonderful game master here.
And you would find it not nearly as cold. You can tolerate the cold much easier than Yrsimagor can do.
It feels like home.
I don't remember, do Goliaths have dark vision?
No.
I point over into the area where the body is. Do you see that?
If she were to like step to like the edge of the cliff and like hold her torch out, would she be able to see it?
Do you think you can get over there, investigate, without getting hurt?
Just see her and her eyes squint for a moment. She looks down to the floor of this cave, and I think she's just gonna hop down, just she's gonna go to this body.
So you hop down. Make a
Oh.
Constitution saving throw, please.
Hooray! I love these. I'm lying. I think that's a whole 8.
Ooh, you thought at first that you would be able to tolerate this cold, but it leaches the heat from your body much more formidably than you imagined. Especially like you thought at least the area of this cave was cold, but no, it's the dust at your boots.
Okay.
You feel it, your feet go numb, and then it goes up your legs quite quickly. You are going to take 11 divided by 2 because you're resistant. You take 5 points of cold damage.
Okay. You just see like her whole body kind of shudders. Ugh. And I think that she would kind of like whatever kind of like quilted padding of her armor, I think she would even kind of try to pull that up over her mask. It is far colder here than I thought. But she's gonna continue to try and move towards this body to at least grab it.
So you stride through the dust and you can reach down and pick up the body and haul it over your shoulder to then kind of like toss up onto the ledge where Yrsimagor is. There's been enough time down here to have to make another Constitution saving throw.
Yep. 13.
All right, you pass, which means this you'll take, instead of 18 cold, you'll take 9 cold, which gets halved down to your resistance to 4 cold damage.
Hooray!
As you're able to climb back up with the body in tow.
See her as she kind of like hoists this body up to Yrsimagor, and then she climbs up herself. She's just dusting herself off.
Is this body
Unfortunately,
like frozen?
yes, the body is frozen and covered in dust, and you see Yrsimagor as she brings up the body to you. The chilly aura comes with. So you will also have to make a Constitution saving throw, Yrsimagor.
All right. Do I roll digitally or physically? Too late. I rolled digitally. That's a 19.
All right, you succeeds, which means you'll only take 14 points of cold damage.
Only. Ah. You brought the cold with you.
At this point, you can identify very quickly that it's the dust itself that clings to every kind of corner of fabric on Zaari, on the corpse itself. It's the dust that causes this excruciating cold. You can both make a perception check, actually, as well, please.
Well, Zaari sees nothing because that's a whole 6.
3.
Okay. Neither of you notice anything. But you have this body now. And you're going to take more of these ticks of cold damage unless you deal with it really quickly here.
I think
you do.
Not only noticing that the cold's coming from the dust. This is dumb, but so am I. I'm just gonna do the thing you do, like if somebody fell down in the snow, I'm just gonna kind of start going, trying to brush all the stuff off of Woundcarver.
I mean, that's what she was already starting to do when she was going.
I was looking to see if I had anything that I would,
like a blanket or something, I was about to have her ask, do you have something to get this off?
Does it look like Woundcarver's torch is having any effect on abating the cold?
No.
Okay.
The fire does not make you any warmer from that torch. But if you want to brush off the dust,
I think that's just what I'm gonna do is just brush it off.
Both of you can make dexterity rolls for me, please. Dexterity checks.
Shake it off.
Shake off all of them. To shake off all of the dust successfully.
Just straight
I
dex.
got a 7. If it's a straight dex, I got a 7.
Oh my gosh. You know what? The audience has been generous. I'm re-rolling that 4.
They have been very generous.
So I'm gonna re-roll that. Do him proud. There we go. That's better. 15.
There we go.
All right. So because one of you passed, you're able to get and brush off all of the dust before another round, quote unquote, of cold harasses your body once more. You now have a frozen solid body on your hands that is now dust-free and no longer lethally cold.
I just glance at Woundcarver. Seems you've been off the mountaintop for too long.
Apparently, I think we should call the other 2. They might want to know about the dust.
We'll keep them away from it. And I'm going to pick up the body and just hoist it and carry it towards the others rather than make them come down here towards the dangerous cold. What is this body anyway? What kind of person is it?
He is a human. He looks, metagamingly speaking, like a very, very competent human adventurer. that has just been frozen solid. When you call he's wearing like this been like frosted over like a chain shirt. You see clutch in his hand, frozen, is a very finely crafted hand crossbow. And on his little like bandolier or a bunch of like potions, though they're all empty and consumed, and whatever like small bits of potion are left in them have been like frozen to the bottoms of the glass. If you rummage through his goods, you'll find a coin purse and a set of thieves' tools. But as the others, what are the other two of you doing? Daeralei and Dannek, as the two brutes are dealing with the cold. You hear them shouting and yelling and chattering their teeth. Do you respond quickly or let them be?
know if Dannek would respond, but maybe not as quickly. Only maybe when he realizes, well, they are our muscle. We should probably make sure that they are okay.
Fair point. If they're not okay, then chances are we won't be okay. So let's go.
When
But
you
still,
arrive,
yeah.
okay, go ahead.
No, but still, like, not in a hurry. Not so much that we're not looking around.
As you nonchalantly and slowly go to where the brutes are dealing with their body, Daeralei, you are caught by surprise. You see a face you recognize, frozen solid. This is one of Conir Bane's best friends and like one of his like strongest companions that he's had over the years that you've known him. This man goes by the name of Gorl Sander.
So I
And
think it's
competent locksmith, burglar, and knave and ne'er-do-well, a real roguish type that seemed to get out of any kind of sticky situation, and that Conir Bane would call upon if he was in a bit more troubled matters. And here he is, frozen solid.
I think as we're walking kind of calmly and slowly up behind him, and then I see the face. It's like immediately the pace quickens and I am all of a sudden at the body. I would reach out to touch it, but if it feels cold, I'm not going to complete the touch. But if
I would grab your hand before you touch the body. Cold. Very cold.
And that would kind of arrest that motion. But Daeralei's continuing to like focus in on the body, and this is not good. I'm sorry, what did you say the name was? Gordon?
Perfidal?
Gorl Sander.
Gorl.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gorl.
Gorl. I thought you said his name was Girl.
Gorl. Gorl. Sander.
Which still registered as a fantasy name to me, Girl Sander. Okay.
Oh, Gorl, what has brought you to this? This bodes not well for Conir.
You know this man.
I do. This was a good friend of Conir Bane. Very good at what he did. If he has fallen, I fear for the fates of the others. We must be cautious.
I'm beginning to think this is less of an expedition and more of a tomb raid.
Well, I can't dispute that, seeing this here, but I still hold hope that Conir is somewhere and that we may find him. I suggest we put this body somewhere safe and take it back up when we return. At least they may have a proper burial.
I will take the body and carefully place it amongst the stuff in a way that looks like it might be partially hidden, but in that tunnel where they were looking at the drawings and or where all that debris is. Maybe even moving, if possible, maybe even moving some debris to sort of block it from view.
All right. The chain shirt, coin purse, and hand crossbow, did you relieve the body of those or keep them with them?
I'm not taking any of them. I don't know if anybody else would want them.
I was gonna say, yeah, Zaari isn't gonna take any of it.
Likewise, I'm.
Wait, are we playing D&D right? We're not looting the body?
Dannek's
This
gonna
is-
take the coin purse.
This is not how I play Baldur's Gate, I'll tell you that.
I was about to say, I usually
mean,
take
to be fair,
everything.
Everything's gone sent back to camp to deal with later.
Right? Yeah.
Yarp.
We'll send it
Right
back to
click,
camp.
yeah.
But you said, Dannek, you're taking the coin purse, and I probably would have tossed you the thieves' tools as well. We can't go this way. I indicate down the tunnel we came from. It's Woundcarver and I barely handled it. The two of you would end up looking like this man. We'll have to find another route. Perhaps this way.
I suppose that leaves us with one path left.
And I think it'll be Zaari this time who kind of gestures for Dannek and I was saying your name in my noggin this whole time and now it's gone, Kaeryn. I'm sorry. I
It's
hear
okay.
Daeralei, right?
Yeah.
Because
So-
I hear derelict in my head.
Somebody earlier in the chat, in our side chat, said barely Daeralei, and that's how I'm
Yeah.
remembering it. In my
See,
mind, you're
I-
barely Daeralei, so I can see your name.
Oh my
right.
god, it's so fitting.
I
Derelict.
I hear derelict, so I just have to take away the CT and it's Daeralei.
You and Dwight go to the same thought process when it comes to naming your characters. I'm gonna spell it as complicated as possible and make it as hard to figure out how to pronounce it.
Guilty
I'm
as
looking-
charged.
I'm looking at you, Yewan. Dwight knows what I'm talking about. All right.
But yeah, she will gesture for the other two to go on ahead of her so she can pull up the rear.
All right. As you advance down this last tunnel, you shake off the shivers of the previously cold room. You see what appears to be a massive, sprawling cave. At the base of this sprawling cave is what seems to be like these thatch and misshapen huts made out of like various materials scavenged.
Do I recognize the architecture of the huts?
They are way too like misshapen. They're not really like designed by. They're not designed by architects. They're designed by survivors. Is like the so you can't really tell by the actual architecture of them. It's just like it's what you imagine like people that are stranded on the island would make.
Right. So it's more of a thrown together versus
Yes.
somebody has like lived here for a while and built with their customs.
You hear the sound of chittering teeth and words spoken in Sylvan, which I'm unsure if any of you have the knowledge of Sylvan. But there's these small, diminutive-sized, beetle-headed creatures that are bashing in the brains of these dark-skinned, bald humanoids that are dead on the ground. Specifically, as well, smashing small bells with their big hammers in fits of rage. They have not noticed you.
Oh,
yet.
wait, what? Who's crushing what?
These little hammer-wielding, beetle-headed creatures are smashing bells and smashing in brains of the skulks that you know them to be.
Okay, so
Daeralei.
do I recognize these creatures, these beetle-headed creatures?
You can give me
at
a
all?
nature roll if you wish.
Yeah, that's probably not going to work. 4.
They are beetle people.
Okay,
At
so I
least
don't recognize.
You do know that they speak Sylvan, though. They are speaking Sylvan.
They're the ones speaking the language I can't understand, and
Yep.
they're bashing in the heads of skulks, which I
Mhm.
know
Yep.
live down here naturally.
Hmm. What was the how can we see if we know what these things are?
Nature.
Nature. I'm no nature boy. But I got a 17.
Ooh, you know these things to be gremlins. Small, sadistic, fey creatures. You know, by the beetle heads that they have and the little grabby claws that they have. These are specifically Vexkit gremlins. They are known to have an irrational, like, hatred of bells, which you can see plainly in front of you, as well as a propensity to dismantle complicated structures and objects, as well as the ability to rust things that they touch.
I half it's a whisper, but it comes across almost like a hiss and sounds like a curse word as I over my shoulder to each of you just say gremlins. Be careful. They will rust your metal. It's a good thing I crush with my fists and I just crack my knuckles.
I think I turn to I am Daeralei. I turn to Zaari and say, hit first. Sounds like a plan right now. And immediately go into kind of this stance, and I'm already under my breath. What's the word? Canton. I'm saying yes,
Enchanting?
thank you. Thank you. I'm saying words of chants. Yeah, under my breath. Getting ready to cast a spell at this point.
Okay,
Alright.
I think hearing the bear talk about how they rust metal, she would be like rolling her shoulders and cracking her own knuckles and it's been a while.
my intent is going to be to try to sneak along this ledge to get close enough that when we spring into action, I want to run and jump and just try to land on one of these things.
Awesome. Yeah, so what I'll do is have everyone roll initiative, please, as you are ready to leap into combat. Your opponents will be surprised as they are busy bashing in brains, dragging bodies to the north. Is what this particular little guy is doing. Is dragging another one of these skulk corpses to the north. And yeah, and after you roll initiative, we are good to go on break.
I am seeing some really low numbers from us for initiative.
Good thing we have surprised.
All right. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take about a 5 to 10 minute break. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in so far, new followers and subscribers. Welcome. Stick around. Looks like we're getting into a fight when we come back from break. We will see you on the other side. There we go. I hit the button and nothing happened. And we're back.
All right, we are back. Initiative has been rolled. This is a surprise round, so Vexkits and Jazzfit at the top of the list, they're unable to take actions because they're surprised. So then we go to you, Daeralei. You get to take an action, or you get to take your turn, I should say. What would you like to do?
I am going to loose the Eldritch Blast that I was preparing last turn on how many of the creatures are there that we're seeing bashing?
You can currently see the three of them. One of them is obviously meaner, leaner, and tougher, which is this lad right here. He's got like animal skulls as pauldrons, and like definitely feels like this guy's in charge. And he looks super tough. There's three of them that you can see though.
Okay, so this is going at him.
Yeah, you get 1, 2, or 3 different targets.
Yeah, going after the big
Big
leader
boy.
looking guy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's see if this 18 to hit.
That hits.
And I am going to use my special ability. So not only because so what we see is this
you've got dark vision, sorry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Go ahead. Yep.
Okay. So we see this kind of smoky dark energy just kind of flash out of Daeralei's hands towards this creature, and as it strikes the creature, Daeralei clutches their head and makes the sound oh! But as we do that, we are going to hit for 10 points of damage, 2 of which is psychic.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
I guess I will move around the corner so that I would give room for people. So I'll go to the right side of that opening. I will move myself because I can do that because I am capable.
Dannek, it is your turn.
Dannek is going to move here and it's going to take aim. With this new crossbow that he's picked up for some reason. And he is going to take a shot at can I this one.
Okay. So that one is outside the light of Yrsimagor's torch. So it'll be at disadvantage to fire at. However, if you do your bonus action, you said that you want to take aim, right?
Yeah.
As your bonus action. So that'll cancel out the disadvantage. So it's a normal roll.
Okay.
But it means you will not get sneak attack.
Where is how far, sorry, is the light?
The light goes out 30 feet, and it's like farther than
Uh,
30 feet out.
Okay, oops. It's farther than 30 feet. Actually, can I move past, oh my gosh. Can I move past Yrsimagor?
Mhm.
And go here and aim at this guy?
Yeah, because that one is within the light of the torch. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. He's gonna do that. So that
So then that means you cannot take aim then, right? You have to not move to take aim.
I don't need to take aim because don't I get sneak attack because they're surprised?
Nope, that's a nope.
Is that not a thing?
That's only an assassin feature. Are you an assassin?
No, I'm a thief.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm a mastermind. Sorry.
You just changing who you are on the fly.
No, today I'm an inquisitor. Just
So it'll just be it'll be a
I was
flat
gonna
roll.
go with I was going with thief for the longest time, and then I last minute changed to mastermind, so that's why. So yes, so it's only a normal roll. But I am going to use the help action as a bonus action, which is one of my features that I get to give to Yrsimagor for his attack, and I believe that
Ooh,
gives him
awesome.
advantage on his attack. So that is a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Cool.
Oops.
For 10 points.
That kills. Just like you can describe for me, please, how your crossbow bolt kills in one shot this gremlin.
I imagine, so here's what I imagine. I imagine Dannek is skulking out from behind this corner. Yrsimagor, feel him just kind of shadow past you on this ledge, and he is like looking at you. He takes out his crossbow, he points it at the one, and he shoots it, and he looks and he says, "Don't miss the next one."
All right.
Yrsimagor, it is your turn. What do you like to do?
So as Dannek says that, you already see that Yrsimagor has lowered himself a little bit. And I have a feature called Adrenaline Rush, which means I can dash as a bonus action. And I gain 2 temporary hit points when I do that. Every little bit counts. So I am going to use this dash to basically a combination of jumping off. These are buildings, right? Like huts?
They're like they're like huts, like lean-tos. Yeah, they will not support your weight if you step on them.
My plan is to basically leap over this first one and use the rest of my movement just to run for that big guy.
Awesome, yeah. I'll say that you can do so.
So with a roar that sounds just with a hint of bear roar mixed in, because I'm not fully raging yet because I used my bonus action to do the adrenaline rush to get over here. But I carry a great axe, and with Dannek's words, I take them less as a form of help, and more as a challenge. As I raise the great axe over my head, and I believe I attack with advantage, correct?
Yep.
Swinging at this big guy, rolling with advantage. Yeah. That's a 16 to hit.
What kind of weapon is this?
This is a
Your
great
fist?
axe.
A great axe. All right. No, it is not a successful attack. The Vexkit brings up the haft of its hammer, and it deflects the blow almost like with supernatural strength. It's like half the size of you, and it like just stops your great axe in its tracks. And as a reaction to it being attacked, it's going to try to rust your great axe in response. Make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Is it tall enough to reach my great axe?
It is a supernatural aura to it.
Oh, fantastic. So that's a dex save, you said?
Yep, dexterity saving throw to be able to pull away your great axe in time
Oh, that
to
was so
not get rusted.
close. Domain relic. Let's try that one more time. That was a 6 for those at home. That is a critical fail.
All right.
It was meant to be.
Your,
Or rather, wasn't meant to be.
Your great axe, you see the rust just grow across the blade, down like the fastenings on its hilt. It gets that red, rusty color. Normally, it would be a -1 penalty, but because of critical fail, you're going to take a -2 penalty to attack rolls and damage rolls with this weapon forever until
Whoops.
it gets cleaned up by a blacksmith in town. So it's a -2 weapon instead of a +1 weapon.
So to hit. Okay, well, that's my turn.
That brings us to Zaari. It is your turn.
Hooray. So I think I am going to have Zaari move. Because how big is this like divot, like this ledge?
It's a 5-foot drop. It's
Okay.
enough for your legs to handle without issue.
So
without taking
like
any damage.
if I just put her here, that would be okay, like movement wise.
Yep.
That would be
Mhm.
okay. Okay, cool sees.
It would just cost like another 5 feet of movement to go down the ledge.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's how I measured it, kind of. And I think what she is going to do is she is going to use her channel divinity abjure enemy. So I can choose one creature within 60 feet to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the creature is frightened and its speed is reduced to 0. And it cannot benefit from bonuses to speed for 1 minute or until it takes damage. On success, it is halved for 1 minute or until the creature takes damage. So I'm going to do it on the gremlin, not the big gremlin, but the little gremlin.
Little guy. Okay. So it has to make a saving throw, right? Is what you said?
Yep. DC 14 wisdom save.
All right. It gets a 21 on the saving throw.
So what happens then is the speed is halved for 1 minute.
Okay.
And let's see. I can't do a bonus action because I can't make it that far now. So that is it.
All right. Now we go to the top of the initiative for real this time. The Vex gets turn. The one on you, Yrsimagor, is going to try to smack you with its hammer. Just right in the kneecaps. Try and kneecap you. That's going to be a 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
And that's going to do 4 points of bludgeoning damage to you. And then it's going to reach out as a reaction to try to rust your great axe once more. Give me another dexterity saving throw. Yrsimagor.
Son of a... That's a 7.
All right, it gets another -1 penalty for a total of -3. If that ever reaches -5, the weapon is disintegrated entirely. Your great axe is becoming more and more useless.
It was a great axe, then it was still a pretty good axe. Now it's just an okay axe.
As a bonus action, this one slides through the walls, appearing right next to you, Dannek, as you see one of these Vexkit gremlins emerge from the stone itself as if it were water, and pop out and reach out to disassemble your hand crossbow that you wielded. It's going to make an attack against you to completely disassemble your hand crossbow, but it's going to do so at disadvantage because yours is enchanted.
What's this gremlin,
Oh.
John Wick? Just gonna reach out and just.
Yeah, you can like as we reach out, like it's multiple limbs just like in a flurry, just like twisting
Like-
screws and
like the-
popping off the.
Like the
Yeah.
Lego games when you're fast building.
That's gonna be a 14 to hit you, Dannek. Does that hit?
That just hits.
Okay. Your hand crossbow is in pieces. In like you look down and you just have like the hilt of it, the handle, and you see like the bow on the ground. Like the bolts have like scattered. There's like the screws or whatever that hold it together have been like clatter on the ground. Your hand crossbow is completely disassembled, and is no longer functional, and will take some time to put back together. Probably like a short rest or a long rest to put back together. That was its turn. And then this one goes to Scurry. And you can hear some shouting and chittering in Sylvan up in the caves to the north of this larger cave. As we have another entry to the initiative. All right. It is now Jasvit, the elite gremlin's turn. Again, going to try to wallop you, Yrsimagor, with its mighty hammer. It's going to make 2 attacks against you. The first one is going to be a 9 to hit, which is not a hit. And the second one is going to be a 23 to hit, which will be a hit. And it's going to do 9 points of bludgeoning damage to you with a heavy kneecap.
I imagine I bring the haft of the axe that's kind of held up and being rusted to deflect that first blow, which unfortunately gives it the momentum to swing around and kneecap me apparently for 9 damage.
And then it raises up one of its many hands and goes like this, just like waves to you. As it sinks down into the stone at your feet, as if like falling into quicksand or falling into a pond, and reappears.
I don't suppose that provokes an opportunity attack.
It does not. It is the equivalent of a Misty Step, but only can only do it through stone. To appear right next to you, Daeralei. That is Jasvit's turn, I think. Oh, it has a reaction left. Daeralei, do you have any metal objects on you? Like what kind of armor and weapons are you wielding?
So I do have leather armor, and I do actually carry a mace and 2 daggers, but they are not out or.
But you're not like wielding them, so yeah, it doesn't really
Nah,
see.
no.
Yeah, okay. Like,
I have
that's-
nothing in my hands at this moment.
All right, cool. That's gonna be its turn then. Daeralei, it is your turn as you have this gremlin pop out of the stone next to you. Kind of like, like doing like the baseball bat thing, where like they kind of like tap their hand with the end of the baseball bat, with a oversized hammer. And it's about like 2/3 your size and ready to like bash in your brains and your kneecaps. What do you want to do?
I want to look it dead in the eye, and I'm going to cast Mind Spike as I try to blow its brain out from the inside. It
What kind of
needs to make
saving
a
throw is that?
Dex 14 saving throw.
Brain scrambler.
Ooh, dexterity, interesting.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
Wrong line. Wisdom. Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom. It's going to get a 21.
Oh,
Wisdom
okay.
save.
So it takes half damage on this. Sorry, lost my brain. 3d8. Where's my thing? 3d8. I'll roll it. So that is 15. It takes half damage.
So 7.
And well, you have to on a failed save, blah 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 blah. Okay, so I don't get any extra stuff because he passed it, but he takes that psychic damage of
He is
that.
now bloodied.
Good. I am going to stand my ground at this point. I have a bonus action if I don't do anything. Yeah, stand my ground and look at it the eye as I'm like, all my focus is on its mind and I am trying to rack its brain, and I will continue to stare it down with my intimidating eyes.
All right. Dannek, it is your turn. You have one of these pop out of the stone next to you and disassemble your hand crossbow before your very eyes with its little grabby hands.
Yeah, you just hear Dannek sigh, and he's like, just got that. As he takes out, is it a bonus action to take out weapons or to?
It's like
I don't think.
it's a free action you do once per turn.
Cool. 2 or just 1? Because he wants to.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. He immediately just like takes out both and is going to try and hit this one in the corner here.
Right.
And since he's not moving, he's going to use his bonus action to give himself advantage.
So that means you only attack with one of them then.
Yes. That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Steadying.
Steadying with advantage. It's a 19 to hit.
19 hits.
Ooh. So then that's going to be my sneak attack plus 10 points.
All right. As its last gasp, it's going to use this reaction as it's being struck to try to rust away your weapon before you strike a lethal strike. Make for me, please, a dexterity saving throw to pull your weapon away just in time before it disintegrates away.
I'm going to use a thing.
Yes.
Reroll. Wow, that's a 12.
Your weapon gets a -1 modifier now to attacks and damage, that short sword that you plunged into it. It is now considered a -1 short sword instead of a +1 short sword, or a +0 short sword.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Okay.
And that would actually make it deal 1 point less damage, right? You do 9 instead of 10, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll actually survive at 1 hit point as it rusts your blade just in time to stop.
Isn't the reaction after though?
It's as it's being attacked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Since it seems very relevant, in case you don't know, you can click on your weapon and add negative attack and damage modifiers, so you don't have to remember to do the math.
Yeah, I did. So it's both damage and
Both the damage and attack rolls. Yep.
ugh.
And if it ever gets to a -5 cumulative, it disintegrates away entirely.
Okay.
So it survives at 1 hit point, like rusting the blade, trying to survive. Extremely bloodied, but living. Yrsimagor, it is your turn. With your useless great axe, what do you want to do?
Looking over at where this one disappeared and not really, I guess I probably don't even notice that where it went. Because there's happens to be another one of these little gremlins next to me. Turning to this gremlin, I hate gremlins. This is why we can't have nice things. And I throw my axe down on the ground. And as I'm saying this, I'm getting angrier. And as the axe hits the ground, I just go, and I take one hand and just kind of like I'm thrusting at the ground. And as I do that, my hands from the elbow down turn into massive bear claws. Like they physically turn into bear claws. And I turn to this gremlin, and while raging, I am going to make 2 attacks, because once on each turn, when you make an attack with a claw, you can make an additional claw as part of the same action.
Ooh.
So I'm going to use both attacks on this with my non-metallic bear claws. The first attack is going to be a 24 to hit.
That's going to be a hit.
And the second attack is going to be an 11.
That's going to be a miss. Going to deflect off of the thick carapace that these creatures have.
But the first one will do 9 plus 2 for raging, so 11 points of slashing damage.
Describe for me, please, how you slay this little gremlin with your bear claw.
So, since I missed on the one attack, I imagine coming in with my left paw, striking down on this thing and hitting it and it not doing any damage. But what the creature didn't know was that I was using this to stabilize it, just hold it in place. As with that bear roar, I just take that claw and just slash right across its front. In such a quick motion, it takes a moment for it to realize that it's dead, as its insides just spill out at its feet. And I don't even wait to see that happen as I turn, and I'm going to use my movement. Let's see. So as I'm turning and looking, I see the big one up there on the ledge.
Yep.
Okay, I just raged, so I can't do another bonus action.
The only one that you can get to in a movement is the one that's near.
So I could get to the one over by
This will be
Dannek?
15. Yeah, yeah. Because you have a movement speed of 30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go 15 up here and then 15 over.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to do that. And it's almost like I'm loping on all fours. My bear claws grabbing hold of that ledge and just pulling me up as I run up. But I've used all my actions, so I can't attack on this turn. Whoops. It's weird.
All right. Zaari, it is your turn. As you've just hopped down the ledge, you see that there's no more of these gremlins down here at the bottom of this ledge, and they're instead wailing on your backline, your casters and your rogues. What do you want to do?
Oh, she is gonna climb back up that ledge and get on the other side of, is it Jasvit?
Yes, Jasvit is the big boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is gonna get right back up here, and that'll give us both advantage, So
I'm not playing with flanking rules. Yeah, sorry.
ooh, that's fine. I won't be mad for long. And she is going to you know what? Why not? We're gonna do just an unarmed strike, because I imagine her seeing these things just completely annihilating all of the metal weapons. She's just gonna do an unarmed strike. Please, dice gods, don't be mad at me today. Ooh, that's a 14. I don't know if I like that.
You can lock it in a 14 to hit.
Mm.
Don't use
My
a domain
dice have
die.
not been. I'm gonna use a domain die. My dice have not been lucky tonight. Oh, that one's even worse though. That's a 7.
All right. Your punch harmlessly bounces off of this gremlin's exoskeleton. And it will use its. So, what kind of armor are you wearing?
I have chainmail on.
Yeah, and do you have any, like, do you have a shield or no?
I have a wooden shield, yes.
Okay. It's going to, as a reaction, use its rusting aura on you, not on your weapon, but on your chainmail that you wear. Make it me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, yeah.
As you see the chain on your body just rusting before your very eyes.
That's a little bit better. 16.
16 is enough to be able to dodge out of the way, pull it away just in time to not have your chainmail rust
Yes.
from its aura.
And that's all I can do right now. So
All right. As the end of Zaari's turn, these things are going to move and dash. Let's see. 25.
I love that we just keep hearing this skittering sound, but we can't see anything.
You see a pair, well, you see one, I should say. No, yeah, you see one massive, long centipede emerging from the darkness around this corner.
All I see on the
moved.
map is it looked like two little eyes just peeking just out of the fog of war.
They have moved and dashed to get here, so that is their turns. The Vex gets turns, so this one is going to stone shift, stone walk, I should say. Sorry, to appear, popping out of the stone wall behind you, Yrsimagor. And it's going to attack you using its action. And that is going to be a 12 to hit, which is not going to hit you, I think, right?
No.
Okay. This gremlin is going to attack at you, Dannek. Swing out its hammer wildly, the one that you almost killed with one blow. It's going to be a 15 to hit you, Dannek.
Yep.
Which is going to be 6 points of bludgeoning. And it's going to vanish, poof, emerging, or sorry, I guess not emerging, submerging itself back into the stone wall from where it came from. And popping out on the other side of Daeralei. And then the big boy Jazvit is going to make 2 massive hammer attacks at you, Daeralei. Just womp and womp, unrelenting. And it is bloodied, so it's going to do bonus damage. It's going to get a 19 to hit you,
That is a hit.
which is going to deal 9 points of bludgeoning.
Okay, in response, he must make a dex saving throw as Daeralei calls out in some alien language a word, and I am hellishly rebuking it.
It gets a 21 dex save.
Of course it does. Okay, what happens on a failed save? 2d10 damage on a failed, half on a successful. Okay, so, oh, what? Wait, what? 3d10, because I'm high level. Never mind. Okay, I'm rolling my dice. That is a 10, 12 points of fire that you take half.
So I take 6 down to 7 points. Okay, and then it's going to try and attack you again with another hammer strike. This is also going to be another 18 to hit.
Yep.
This could be 11 points of bludgeoning to you.
Well, that's kind of staggers Daeralei a bit. It's
And
one
it's
after
going-
another, boom, boom.
And it's going to reach out with its rust aura as a reaction against you, Zaari, to try to rust your chainmail. Give me another dexterity saving throw.
Oh, please, dice, don't hurt me. Oh, that's a 12.
That is a fail.
Yep.
You are going to have your chainmail permanently reduced by 1. It is now a -1 chainmail as the rust creeps across your armor. That was its turn. So now, Daeralei, it is your turn, as you've been womped, kneecapped 2 times in a row by this champion gremlin.
So, kind of remembering back to when we first came into this place and how they were bashing on the skulls and the bells, Daeralei's got a thought, and instead of casting Eldritch Blast at this creature in front, instead we're going to point our finger and we're going to again say something in this unintelligible alien language, and cast Toll the Dead on big dude in front of me. It's a wisdom saving throw, DC 14. So, but I'm more wanting the big sound of bells to happen.
You will apply disadvantage on the saving throw because of the bell phobia that these things have.
Yes.
So it's going to get a 12 total
Yes, so it
on
fails.
its wisdom save.
So this time it'll take D12 because it is hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I change that? I can't. So I will roll D12 here. D12. Roll. Oh, that's an 11. 11 necrotic.
Describe this for me, please, as you slay the champion gremlin.
So the sound of bells rings throughout this cavern. It's loud. You can see the fear in this gremlin's eyes as it fails its save, and immediately the life is kind of sucked out of it as it becomes like desiccated and withers before it crumbles as a pile of very dry skin and bones.
All right. That brings us to, I guess, now, do you want to use your movement at all? You have a gremlin on your flank.
Gremlin. No, I think I will just turn and turn to face it and basically look at it with my eyes. I'd like to try to intimidate it. I'm like, you're next.
That'll be your bonus action. You can roll for me an intimidate roll, please.
Oh, 25.
All right. It does the Fey gremlin insectoid equivalent of shitting itself from your intimidation. It is going to be frightened of you.
I just imagine a bunch of rust flakes fall to the ground.
You see, like, there's like smaller like vestigial hands like clutched at like and its lower torso, and like just like drops a bunch of bells, all in states of disrepair. Yeah. All right, Dannek, it is your turn.
There's no way that Dannek can get at this guy, right?
I mean, if you want to like throw a dagger or something, yeah. But there's not really a way for you to make a melee attack. No, you can make a ranged attack for sure.
And I get sneak attack.
You will get your sneak attack, but you will not be getting an advantage if you're like throwing a dagger here.
Okay, I have a short bow.
Okay.
Use because someone ruined my new crossbow. And then because I have sneak attack, it's a 13 to hit.
13 is not enough to get past its thick exoskeleton. Do you want to use a domain die?
Yeah. On hit. Oh, that was so close. 24.
24 is a hit.
Which is going to be 12 points.
That is enough to slay this gremlin outright.
Cool.
With an arrow through its skull.
And then Dannek is going to use his bonus action to it, uh, your save percentage on his attack.
So you cut out a little bit for me. You want to do what to your attack?
Dannek is going to use his bonus action to give Yrsimagor advantage. on his
Advantage.
next attack.
Okay.
Yes.
Using the help
Mhm.
action. Gotcha.
Yes.
Ironically,
Alright.
you went all robot-y,
Oh no.
which is perfect because I hate robots.
Yrsimagor, it is your turn.
I give a roar of slight annoyance that Dannek took my kill. But I can see these two centipedes up here, yeah?
Mhm.
I am going to run and drop down on them, and I'm going to take a swing at each one.
All right. Give me those 2 attack rolls.
I'm going to roll physical die for these and see if that makes a difference. First attack is a 23 to hit.
That hits.
Second attack is a 15 to hit.
It's yeah, that also hits.
Okay, so
Two
the
hits.
first one is going to take, oh geez, roll a 1. So it's going to take 4, 5, 6 point, no wait, 1 plus 3, yeah, 6 with the rage bonus. Second one, oh my gosh, 6 also. I rolled 1s on both my d6s.
Well, these things are puny insects. I imagine them scuttle up at the behest of the gremlins that can speak in the language of insects. They can like poise their heads, and one of them spits out a boot that it was munching on, and we'd recognize this as Dexter's boot that he was wearing. And like as they're like rearing their head to like size you up and like strike you with their venomous fangs and inject you with their lethal venom to digest you from the inside out. You just come slash, dealing 6 damage to both of them, just cutting them each in half with your big bear claws, as they were mostly talk and no substance, with only 4 hit points each. As they like hiss and squirrel and squirm and writhe on the ground with their black insect blood splurting about.
All right. Let's see. 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Can I see anything else that's coming up?
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah, you have dark vision up to 60 feet. So
Yeah.
you can see, gosh, you can see like this entire cave section, huh? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you'd see just like a network of caves. Empty. No more centipedes, no
Okay.
more gremlins. The coast is clear.
I was seeing if I needed to move because I still have 5 feet of movement. I'm gonna hold my ground, and that's my turn.
All right, Zaari, it is your turn.
Okay. I think that Zaari is gonna come up behind Daeralei. And how much HP do you need? Like how
Me?
much have you lost? Yes.
I have lost over 20.
Okay. She is going to just kind of like, she's gonna touch your shoulder, and you're gonna just hear like this very low growling grumble come from her, and you're gonna feel this very soft, invigorating feeling, and she is gonna give you she's gonna use lay on hands and give you 10 hit points.
Thank you so much.
Gotta love to have that party member that knows when you need a good shoulder rub in the middle of the fight.
Darn tootin'. And then because I can't get through from Daeralei. I can't just go through Daeralei.
Nope.
So I guess for now, that's it.
All right. The giant centipedes don't have a turn. They go up to the top with the Vex kit. The only one remaining who's frightened will use Stonewalk to like vanish. Will step into the stone itself and vanish completely, taking us out of initiative as it flees. You look around the battlefield. You see the brutalized corpses of the skulks who you hadn't had a chance to meet, but a previous incarnation of you had met and had made an accord with. You see that the gremlins had been dragging the bodies northwards through these tunnels up through here. And a cursory investigation will see that the gremlins had also been like in the midst of dragging belongings from this room here to the north through this little tunnel through here. You can see like there's kind of like a pile of you know when you have a really messy room and there's just everything strewn all about the floor and things on tables that just shouldn't belong. Well, that's what this hallway looks like. Just a whole mess of haphazard belongings strewn about in the process of like being rifled through. In this pile of belongings, you would find, if you looked, those brown striped key cards that you had a previous incarnation of you had bargained with Seth for. These are like small, they look like kind of like floppy disks with a brown stripe on them, but of course your fantasy characters would not know what these are. In this rummaging stuff, you'd find all of these things that have metal in them are like half rusted, unfortunately. A buckler has been rusted, a short bow unrusted, a rapier rusted, 2 short swords also rusted, a +1 club which is not rusted, 2 potions of healing, a glowing longsword, and 2 magical scrolls, and a set of +1 thieves tools.
I don't know who's looking through all this stuff, but following the fight, I'm going to walk over where I dropped my great axe. Well, my okay axe now. And as I walk over, I just sort of and seem to slightly alter my appearance, and my arms just, in fact, I imagine it almost looks like the fur of the bear claws just sort of almost looks like it falls away, revealing just my orc hands as I angrily pick up my axe. I hate gremlins. And I'll join you all over there by the loot.
Yeah, Dannek's gonna go over there and he's looking for something or someone in particular at this pile.
Yeah,
If he can.
you see belongings, and you would see rusted would be that rusted bastard sword that you know was forged by Gideon's hands.
Yeah, Dannek immediately kind of drops down into a crouch and takes this rusted bastard sword and kind of puts the hilt up to his head, like resting against his forehead, and just kind of stays there for a while, not saying or doing anything.
I think Zaari, when they all got back together, she would kind of approach Yrsimagor and tell him, well, you got the final kill. You should be the first to pick from the loot.
I'm no thief, and I can't read those scrolls. You're the healer. I don't know what those brown things are. I'll take the bow. Well, wait. I'll take the club. Just a big old wooden club, yeah?
Yep, just a simple weapon, like just the good old D6 club or whatever it is. But it's so when you look at this club, you can see that it is this club that's made not of like regular wood, but of some kind of like hard, firm, like almost like fungal material. Daeralei, you'd recognize this as a sort of mushroom that's grown in the Darklands, that's often used for things that that wood would normally be used for. Has this kind of a similar texture as normal wood, but it's of an enchanted, like kind of an enchanted mushroom that confers that enchanted property of plus oneness to it, and it's kind of like sculpted and engraved. If you could speak Undercommon, you could see that it has almost like a visual history of the Skulk people written out and drawn out across the make of this club. But I imagine these finer details are lost upon you, Yrsimagor.
Yeah, I just see a club.
So the first thing that Daeralei is going to be doing is gathering all the skulks' bodies together. And from what I know of the skulks' customs, or whatever, we're going to try to give them the best farewell as possible in the short amount of time that we've got. And then once Daeralei has done that and said the piece over them, we'll then return to the others. Noticing the club that Yrsimagor now has, would just comment, there is great history with that weapon. You've done and chosen well, Yrsimagor.
What kind of history does a stick have?
This one seems to have quite a long one. May it continue to do such in your hands.
Then I will
with
add to its stories.
With your knowledge of Undercommon and a closer understanding of the Skulk people, you can see that this is a club that's been kind of passed down from clan leader to clan leader to clan leader over almost like centuries of time here. You can see that the final notch, there's like a final drawing that seems a bit more crude than the other ones. The one preceding it is like finely crafted. It's about, you can see that there's this Skulk sorcerer who seemed to be very powerful and leading the Skulk people to some safe land away from the subterranean terrors that have been moving in. And the last entry is, I am what remains of my people, me and my 7 siblings.
How many bodies did I find when I put them together?
There were 4 of them that were that have been killed in this main chamber.
Well, Daeralei doesn't say anything about that particular, but just kind of keeping that in their head. I believe I already said what I intended to with Yrsimagor.
And the other thing that you would see reading upon
Yeah.
this is actually it was a little bit hidden on the like hieroglyphs of the previous like mural on the club, but it's actually a message written for whoever finds this. It's like written in Skulk, or the Skulk dialect of Undercommon. If any of my people find this, seek out the world beyond the metal wall. Maybe there will be the riches and sanctity for our people. Use the blue, oh sorry, use the brown discs. They can guide your way.
With that, Daeralei's eyes would, I guess, move to the brown discs on the
Mhm.
ground, and would pick them up curiously and stare at them, look at them.
They are plastic and faded and scratched and worn with a brown stripe on one side, but they're like small, like a CD is kind of shaped. And you can imagine no practical uses for these other than like maybe like you can toss them as children toss frisbees. But even then they seem a bit too small.
And the words you said would beyond world beyond
The Great Metal Wall.
world beyond the great metal wall. And I think under my breath would say world beyond the great metal wall. And then stand up and I guess we'll pocket the 2 potions of healings and the scrolls because if nobody else has taken them.
Were we going?
Yeah,
Were we essentially taking a short rest at this point?
I would love to take a short rest.
Samesies.
If you
during your short rest, you can reassemble your hand crossbow with a intelligence check.
I think Zaari is gonna pick up that glowing longsword then.
You can attune to it during this short rest. It is a +1 moon-touched longsword. So when it is drawn out of its sheath, it emits light, bright light to 15 feet and dim light to another 15 feet. So 30 feet of light total. And it is a +1 longsword that glows.
Awesome.
so
And apparently seems a bit immune to the rust these gremlins like to produce.
just to clarify something and cue the viewers into our house rule. A short rest. We are doing half of your max HP is healed on a short rest. Is that what you said?
Yep. Yeah, exactly how
Awesome.
Baldur's Gate does it.
Awesome. And Daeralei, at some point during this short rest, you would probably notice that sitting in the corner on this this club that I now have, you would see me putting the finishing touches of crudely carving bear into it. And a picture of like just almost like a little rough circle with 2 little bear ears and a couple little fangs and dots for eyes. It's just almost like a child's drawing, but I'm adding to definitely much cruder, but adding to this thing and claiming it as my own.
I think the only thing that Daeralei will do at this point would be kind of like to walk up to you and sees that that's happening and would just kind of give you that like a hand on your shoulder, not like a pat, hey, good job, but like I appreciate what you're doing kind of gesture when they put their hand on your shoulder.
You just get a grunt of acknowledgement. Now what? Oh wait, we can see that door, can't we?
Yeah, so on the as you kind of like get a chance to like get your bearings, you said that this wall on this farthest section of the cave, you bring your light up to it. It is a solid Skymetal wall. It is not like, not a cave wall with Skymetal ore popping out of it, but no, this perfectly smooth with like welding marks and forging marks all across it. A smooth Skymetal wall. And about 5 feet off the ground at an odd angle is what seems to be some kind of like latch, or not a latch, a hatch that is firmly closed, though a bit in disrepair and not closing fully. If you can like tiptoe up to peer through it, you see a strange chamber beyond that seems to be made entirely of Skymetal. The walls and floor and ceiling all appear to be made of Skymetal.
So seeing the wall and this door, Daeralei would just again say, kind of mutter under breath, "World beyond the metal wall," and would pull out those brown discs. And I would like to maybe investigate, somehow search this thing in front of us, this weird metal door thing.
All right. You may investigate roll, please.
14.
You can see that there are actually these little slots available. You can push this key card into the wall itself in its entirety in a little console next to this hatch. And when you do so, you can hear a hum sound that almost like buzzes in the back of your brain, and whoosh, the hydraulic and pneumatic doors of this hatch slide open forcefully, revealing the room beyond.
Quick question. When I hear that buzzing, does it remind me or trigger a memory?
It is the same buzzing that you hear whenever the voice in your head speaks to you. The voice in your head that's been so quiet for so many years.
Yeah, so I think as the door, like when that buzzing happens and the door is starting to open, like Daeralei just kind of collapses onto their knees and kind of clutches their head as these kind of memories are flashing in their head at this moment. The voice that I've been longing to hear and haven't for a while, and so I don't think Daeralei is actually noticing right now what's actually happening with the door.
I'm just looking in.
You,
I probably would have reflexively grabbed the club if these doors just threw themselves open, and just be like expecting something to happen.
yeah, so you see this chamber made of a smooth, dark gray Skymetal. The walls, the floor, the ceiling are at like these perfect like angles, impossible angles for any blacksmith of today's age to be able to forge, let alone like all of this metal in one spot. Is just very strange to see. You can see there's like these panels of kind of like a lighter material that run along the ceiling 8 feet above. You continue to you can see that this is actually what appears to be like some kind of hallway or tunnel, but both the northern and southern sections have been collapsed in by cavern rubble, and are impossible to traverse through. But you see this particular hatch is half ajar, and you're able to get a small gleaning of the idea that there is a hallway that continues past it. And off the map.
So this door is open now.
Yeah, you have to like kind of just like climb up into it, but Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, it's easy to traverse into.
Daeralei, maybe you have to put one of those cookies in the store too.
And I think, yeah, with Yrsimagor calling to Daeralei, that kind of knocks them out of this not sort of trance, but this mood that they were in. And I think it just like, again, the words, "Why have you forsaken me?" would come out before they stand up and would approach Yrsimagor and put, I guess, the other. There was 2 discs, right? Would put the other disc.
There were 5 actually.
Oh,
total.
5 discs. Okay.
Mhm.
Would put another one then inside. Well, if she can find the spot, then
You
they would
see
do that.
So now that you know what you're looking for, you try to see. You try to find what the same like a little crevice you could put the thing in, and you see that you find it, and it's been jammed, and you can pretty easily say that it's been like tampered with. You're not really sure by what or how, but you get the impression that someone tried to do what you just did, unsuccessfully.
And so something is jammed inside of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the wrong thing was put inside. And then you look at the door half ajar. You realize that by looking at the scrapings and the buckling of the metal, like something of great strength tried to, and successfully probably, pulled these doors open. And that's why they kind of rest limply, half opened, half ajar.
I cannot, Yrsimagor. There's something blocking this, but you should be able to just open it. Someone has done previously.
That's
And
all
they
I
would
needed
gesture
to
you
hear. I'm just going to put my hands in the opening and just try to force the door open.
Make for me a strength roll, please.
Be athletics.
Pure strength.
Could
Pure strength.
Zaari help and
Then-
give him advantage?
Yeah, you get advantage for the helping hand from Zaari.
Did you say pure strength or bear strength?
Well,
Oh,
pure, a straight up strength roll,
Okay.
and also bear strength. Yes.
Whoops. So that's, let me see. Let me roll another one because that was with advantage. Oh, phew. That was almost a 2. 21.
All right, you feel the weight of these Skymetal doors, impossibly made, and you get ready to just like rip them apart with your biggest of strength, and they slide open as if they've been like just they're on tracks made of butter or something. Just whoosh, they just slide into the slots in the sides of the walls, almost effortlessly, especially for you.
Do they feel like they're going to stay open? Or
And
do I
as you
have
let
to,
go,
or do
they
I have
kind
to
of
hold
like
them open?
slowly roll back
Okay.
into place.
I will basically stand in the doorway, one hand on one side, one in the other, and basically just look back at them. I'm not going to stand here all day.
But you look so majestic.
I think Zaari will be like shuffling the other two through the opening. And then once they're through, she'll just kind of like shoo Yrsimagor, and then she'll slip through before the doors close.
And now that you fully see into this room, you see that this door is also ajar, even more so than the last one. And you see a large Skymetal room. And inside of it, you see these beings made of Skymetal, these golems, these constructs, 3 legs, wide posture, with a massive pincer on one of their arms. They look squat, 3-legged, and kind of crab-like as they sit crouched
Do they look
They
like
are
the chalk
completely-
drawing?
They look. Yes. These you mentioned are the chalk drawings. They are in stasis. They are unmoving. They don't breathe. They are not even like shifting their weight back and forth like a person might do if they're sitting. They're completely still and kind of like folded in on themselves. And that is where we are going to end our session.
Excellent. All right, gang, we made it a little bit further than last time.
Yes, we're not dead yet.
Hooray.
At this point, this is starting to feel like a FromSoft game. We just kind of make it a little bit more forward.
Each
little bit more
time,
forward.
right? Each time you learn a little bit more, you
Yep.
can make it to the next room.
Don't
There'll
forget
be
to
a
pick up our
small
souls.
part of corpses as we're going.
Here, we just went in that back room to collect our souls or our
That's
runes.
right.
Yep.
All right. That was fun.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, I.
All
And this would
right.
be the point where you'd level up to level 2 in Pathfinder. But
But we are level 3 in D&D.
you're already level 3, so when you hit the next milestone, you'll level up.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. A few new viewers, followers, subscribers. Thank you. This is one of several games that we have every week or every other week or once a month. We've always got games going on. Pathfinder, D&D, Call of Cthulhu, and occasional other one-shots. We've got Kids on Bikes, a weekly game on Thursdays, coming up in 2 days. And I can occasionally be found, such as this Friday, over on Nerdarchy. Or over on Erasmus Expeditions, where you can find several of us at different times in different games. Yeah, if you're new here, make sure you hit the notifications, because you are definitely going to want to know when we go live on Saturday, September 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Legends of Eleanor, The Light of the Child, the celebrity D&D one-shot featuring Todd Stashwick, Matthew Lillard, Mika Burton, Tawny Newsom, and Jack Quaid, along with 2 special auction winner guests, as Todd leads these 6 players through his own homebrew setting of Legends of Eleonora, or of Eleonora. What I believe may actually be the first streamed game in his custom setting. So tune in for that. Lots of giveaways, a great charity cause. We're hoping to continue to raise several $1,000s for Pavlov Foundation. So we hope to see you there. Again, thank you to everybody who supported with subscriptions, bits, gift subs, all that stuff. We always appreciate that, especially the subs, the gift subs, as you bring more people into the community. Go ahead, Tamiko, if you could drop the Discord link one more time. We do have an MTD Discord with a variety of rooms for talking about RPGs, movies, music, books. And lately, there's been a whole section of Baldur's Gate 3 discussions that have been pretty popular if you're into that game. So come on over and join us over on the Discord. Shout out if you are somebody who likes to lurk silently in the chat, or if you're watching with us later in a VOD. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and hope you enjoy our games. And finally, a huge thank you, as always, to this amazing group of people. It's so fun to get to play with a bunch of different people in different games, sometimes some of the same people across different games, but that's okay, because we love playing with each other. So it's really awesome. So before I do the final outro, I was vamping so I could figure out who was streaming, that we're going to send a raid over to, if I can get it to come up. Why is his username not showing up? That's why. I'm spelling it wrong. Our friend Granomir is streaming some video games. Looks like some F-Zero 99. He likes to do a lot of retro games. He's actually a local friend of mine and Dwight's. So we're going to send a raid over to them, send the MTD love over there. Huge thank you once again to our game master, Vi, to Kaeryn, Sara, and myself, without whom this would just be Vi talking to herself for a couple hours. With that, we are going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.
TPK.